I was pruning roses in the front yard of my Victorian home in Eugene, Oregon, when my phone buzzed against the porch railing. The caller ID showed my son, Michael, and my heart lifted until I heard his voice, sharp and distant. "Mom, I sold the cabin in the Cascades, signed the papers yesterday, needed the money for my startup. I'll send you a check for your share. Gotta run." The line went dead before I could respond. My pruning shears slipped from my hand, landing in the dirt. 42 years of raising him, sacrificing my own dreams for his, and he discarded our family's sanctuary like it was junk mail. My name is Clara Thompson, 68 years old, a retired high school English teacher who'd spent decades grading essays and nurturing young minds. My husband, David, died 8 months ago from a stroke while we hiked our favorite trail in the Willamette National Forest. We'd stopped to watch a bald eagle soar, and he'd squeezed my hand, whispering, "You're my forever adventure, Clara." Those were his last words. Since then, Michael had been present in a way. He'd handled David's funeral, dropped off groceries, even booked me a therapist for my grief. "Mom, you need to slow down now," he'd say, with that polished smile I mistook for love. Now I saw it for what it was: convenience. The cabin was our heart's home. David and I bought it when Michael was 10, pooling my teaching salary and David's earnings as a librarian. Summers there were magic. Michael learning to fish in the creek, David reading aloud by the fire, me baking apple pies for his friends. We celebrated birthdays, Thanksgivings, even Michael's high school graduation there. It was where David proposed under a starlit sky, where we scattered his ashes by the creek. Selling it wasn't just about money. It was erasing our legacy. I didn't cry. Instead, a strange calm settled over me as I sat on the porch, the scent of roses heavy in the air. 3 weeks before David died, he'd handed me a leather-bound journal. "Clara, keep this in your nightstand. If anything happens, read it when you're ready. It's our secret." Grief had buried it in my mind until now. That afternoon, at a routine checkup, the doctor's advice about blood pressure meds barely registered. My thoughts were on that journal. Back home, I retrieved it from the nightstand, hands trembling. Inside were deeds, financial statements, and a letter in David's neat script. "My dearest Clara, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Forgive the secrecy. I wanted to shield you from stress. I invested our savings wisely. We own not just the cabin, but 6 independent bookstores across Oregon, held in a company under your name. You're wealthier than you know, millions in assets. I kept it quiet so Michael would love us for us, not our money. Use it wisely. Always yours, David." Tears blurred the pages. David, my quiet librarian, a shrewd investor? The statements listed thriving bookstores in Portland, Bend, Salem, Ashland, Corvallis, and Eugene, our local gem where Michael had worked summers as a teen. The cabin sale was illegal. He had no right. But I didn't want revenge. David taught me lessons come through stories, not punishment. Michael's startup, an app for book recommendations, was his latest gamble after failed tech ventures. His fiancée, Lena, likely pushed him. She'd always sneered at our quaint life, her designer bags clashing with our thrift store furniture.
The next morning, Michael called, his tone softer but patronizing. "Mom, the check's mailed, 30% of the sale. Fair, right? Lena and I are off to San Francisco for investor meetings. We'll visit when we're back." 30% of my own legacy. Generous. "Safe travels," I said, voice steady. After hanging up, I laughed. A deep, freeing sound. He thought I'd be scraping by on my pension. Oh, Michael. I called Miss Harper, David's estate lawyer, who'd been discreet at the funeral. She confirmed it all. I owned the bookstores. Profits funneled into accounts I never knew existed. "We can void the cabin sale immediately. Fraudulent transfer," she said. "Not yet. I want control first, quietly." Over weeks, I assumed silent ownership from my kitchen table, reviewing ledgers. The stores were community hubs, cozy cafes, author readings, rare editions. Annual revenue was over $2 million. David had multiplied our savings tenfold.
I played the bereft widow for the neighbors. Evelyn from book club brought lasagna, whispering, "How are you managing, Clara? That cabin was your heart." "I'll be fine," I'd smile, hiding my double life. Mornings, I was the grieving mom. Afternoons, the businesswoman, studying profit margins. Michael's LinkedIn posts shifted from boasts to desperation. Investors bailed. Lena nagged. His startup collapsed, and he returned to Eugene, broke. "Mom, can I crash here?" he asked, suitcases in hand, eyes avoiding mine. Lena had drained their account and left. "Of course," I said, hugging him, my plan unfolding. He moved into his old room, sci-fi novels David gave him still lining the walls. He moped, applying for tech jobs, but his credit was ruined from loans. "Mom, can I borrow some hash?" he asked over takeout one night. "I'm on a fixed income, Michael. We're both stretching pennies." Guilt flickered in his eyes. Desperate, he answered an ad I'd arranged anonymously through the Eugene bookstore's manager, a friend of David's. "Stocking shelves, clerking, entry level," it read. Michael grumbled, but took it. I visited incognito, scarf hiding my face, watching him shelve books with resentment turning to curiosity. Customers chatted, he recommended titles from his youth. He was finding his place. The cabin buyers, unaware of the fraud, got a refund notice from Miss Harper. Michael heard through gossip. "Mom, the sale fell through. Buyers backed out." "Oh," I feigned surprise. His debts mounted. Creditors called. One night, he broke down. "I screwed up, Mom. Sold the cabin for nothing. Lena pushed me, said it was dead weight. I believed her." My heart ached, but I waited. He threw himself into the bookstore, volunteering for story hours with kids. "They remind me of me, big dreams," he told me. Evelyn noticed at book club, "Your boy's changed, Clara. Humble. That shop's his calling." "Life's a good teacher," I said. A crisis hit when the store's roof leaked during winter rains. Michael rallied the team, raising funds through readings. I donated anonymously. He beamed. "We did it, Mom. No handouts." The time was right. I invited him to Miss Harper's office, claiming estate loose ends. He fidgeted, expecting bad news. She slid over the documents, deeds, bank statements, the bookstore chain. "Your father left more than you knew. Clara owns it all, including your store." His jaw dropped. "Dad did this? And you knew while I shelved books?" I nodded. You sold what wasn't yours. I let you struggle to learn. Shock became shame. Mom, I treated you like nothing. Why? Because money fixes symptoms, not causes. You needed to value family, work, humility. Tears fell. I do now. That job, it's real, connecting people to stories, like Dad. Miss Harper added, "The cabin is yours again, Clara. Michael's debts can be cleared through the company." He hesitated. "No, Mom. I'll pay them myself, slowly." We reclaimed the cabin legally. Michael took over the Eugene store, blending his tech skills with David's vision. Online integrations, virtual readings. Lena called, sniffing opportunity. "Michael, let's try again." He laughed. "I'm good." He met Sarah, a teacher at the store. They bonded over books, her warmth a stark contrast to Lena's greed. A year later, we gathered at the cabin for David's memorial. Michael toasted by the creek, to Dad's secrets and Mom's lessons. I almost lost it all, but gained everything. Eagles soared above, and I felt David's presence. Justice wasn't vengeance, it was growth. Our family, once fractured, was whole again, built on earned respect in Oregon's misty forests. Months later, Michael thrived, hosting community events. He started a program for young entrepreneurs, sharing his failures. Sarah joined us at the cabin, her laughter filling the air. As we rebuilt the dock, David started. "I'm sorry, Mom," he said by the fire. "Forgiven," I replied. "You've grown." David's legacy wasn't just money, it was wisdom, binding us stronger than ever.